What is going on, folks? You are on the lifeboat. This is Captain Calhoun speaking. I need to clean my screen. My lunch is on my screen. Anyways, good morning. How you guys doing? Happy Tuesday. Beautiful day for recovery, if I do say so myself. Robin Miners, Debbie Blair, Cindy G, Layla Bradley, Paula D. What's going on, y'all? All y'all's names match. Pardon me, rhyme, which is fun. I'm a big fan of alliteration, wordplay, rhymes, things like that. Layla Bradley, good morning. How are you? Robin, Jeremy, I was told this morning that I'm going to receive a package today, so I imagine it's the one that we've all been waiting for. Um, Love it. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for being patient, y'all. Kevin Hawthorne, Roberta, hello. Other restrained. It's been a while, man. How are you? Hola, ¿cómo está? Muy bien, E2. Florence Southard, how are you? Bobby Jean, Johnny. Missoula, Montana is cold. My little sister's doing a visiting her friend in Montana right now. I feel pretty good today. I tell you what, I woke up with a frog in my throat, but and I feel great. I'm not sore. I don't have a headache. I'm not like congested. I feel like a little. There's some lingering sickness, but I'm pretty much out of the woods, folks, which is wonderful. Which is wonderful. Robin says, just keeping you in good Canadian Tim Hortons, nice and smooth. I really appreciate that. And you are not lying. It is smooth, delicious. It's good drinking, that's for sure. Speaking of, maybe I should have some. Charlie Mullins, what's going on, big dog? Good to see you. The channel's first subscriber, folks. Kind of a celebrity in my book. I know he probably doesn't feel that way, but I tell you what, I'm a big fan. Big fan of the man himself. Sage, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome in. Welcome back. Robin Bliss. Today, I'm kind of liking this new thing we've been doing. Until it gets old for me, I'm probably going to keep doing it. Where we kind of just hang out and catch up and talk about stuff, and then we read medical journals and make it digestible. I chew it up and spit out digestible language. It seems to be working well. I enjoy it. Y'all enjoy it. It's everyone's favorite. So I'm gonna have to come up with a fun name for this kind of episode because it certainly deserves its own title. Sassy Dad, Mike Conroe, what's going on, man? Welcome back. 29 with 3 inches of snow in Houston. Took Sassy out. She was what the WTF wanted back in. I'm gonna have to call my pops and see how he's doing down there. I'm sure he's fine, but that's interesting. I didn't know. Snow in Houston. That's crazy. It's windy as all heck outside right now here in Tucson, Arizona. And it was quite cold out there. The wind was kind of, I don't want to say biting my face because if you've lived anywhere where the wind actually bites your face, um, that's not what was happening out here. But it definitely, it's not how it's supposed to feel in Tucson. That's for sure. It was a little chilly. It was a little chilly. I always feel strange complaining about the cold in Tucson. Out of all the places that I've lived, this is quite a warm locale. Snow on beaches in Texas. That sounds like a beautiful sight. 4 inches in my neck of New York. I tell you what, or 4 degrees. Holy crap. I remember getting into the negatives when I lived in Chicago. Definitely not my favorite favorite brand of weather, I tell you what. 10 degrees in Southwest Virginia. I wonder what the degrees is here. Let's give it a look. Let's give it a good old look. So, because I'm still having lingering effects of my sickness, I'm probably not going to bust back into Calhoun's Corner until I feel like my voice is better. I need to do this for my sanity. When I say this, I mean the lifeboat. So I'm going to do this every day, right? But as soon as my throat feels 100%, we'll boot Calhoun's Corner back up. I think that it was probably a mistake doing 6 hours of Calhoun's Corner the other day because man, it really didn't help my sickness. You know what I mean? So we're just gonna play it by ear, play it cool. Cooking with the grandma. Welcome in, Andrew B. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. So we left off. Brianna Miller says it's so windy up here in the valley. The wind was howling all night long. That is one of my least favorite sounds in the whole world. If I had to pick one of my two least favorite sounds, I'd have to say baby crying and wind howling are my two least favorites for sure. Insurgency sandstorm, huh? All right, let's put that on the list. Let's put that because I'll forget if I don't write it down. Is it an extraction shooter? What's the deal with insurgency sandstorm? That's not where that goes, is it? It is where it goes. I always, when it comes to like new games, I always feel like I have too many games already. There's no need to insert more games into it. And my friends are always trying to get me to play new games, and I always am very reluctant to do so, but I'll definitely check it out. I feel like my relationship with video games is uh, tumultuous. I could definitely do exactly what I was doing with crack cocaine and alcohol with video games. I 100% can. If I just allow myself to play games all day long, that's exactly what the man will do, and that's not good for me. It's really not good for me. I'll skip meals. I won't sleep right. I won't do exercise. I'll literally stop doing everything. I'll stop cleaning the crib. I'll stop cooking food for myself. I'll start spending money on eating out and like DoorDash type deals, right? I can absolutely treat video games like an addiction. We've talked about that a little bit here before. It's 45 degrees in Tucson, by the way. We've talked about video games in the alcohol and drugs arena, in a drug in an addiction sense before, and it definitely has that potential for me. So I got to be careful, but I'll definitely check it out. I'm always down to check it out. The whole key here for me in overcoming that is going to be self discipline. I pull out the toolkit all the time. I write in the journal. I'm exercising. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. Right? We don't necessarily need to go over it all. You know the deal, right? I'm doing everything that I need to be doing, but my self discipline is the one thing, or my lack thereof, is the one thing, or I guess that and patience are the two things that are still holding me back. So as I move through the world these days, those are things that I'm working on. Those are things that I'm focused on. And, I'm trying to come up with new and creative ways to satisfy my brain, but also structure my life in a way where I'm going to be able to display discipline and display patience. And life is definitely not short on opportunities to display what I've learned. Um, I have to say, I still have a lot to learn. Just started Majora's Mask, says Brianna. Already driving me crazy, but I love it. That one was such a departure from because I played an absolute ton of Ocarina of Time, and then I tried Mask, and it was so different, it threw me off. But it's a good one. Once you get into it, it ceases to put you off. But I will say it's much more complicated in my opinion. Majora's Mask, definitely a classic, not one that I've ever beaten. One of my sister's favorites, though. If you were to ask Cedar what her favorite Zelda was, she would tell you Twilight Princess every time. Robin Bliss says, I'm in Northwest Arkansas. That is some beautiful country right there. Lucy's family is from, or Lucy, I guess, is from Arkansas. And we went out there to meet her family for Christmas one year. And it was just such a beautiful place. I never expected Arkansas to be like, when I say beautiful, it was stunning. I've been a lot of places. I've been in the mountains of Utah. I've been to the beach. I've lived near the beach. I've been all sorts of friggin' places. I've been to the ocean, to the coast, to the desert, under the stars, in the forests. I've been all over the dang place, all inside the United States, unfortunately. But I have to say, Arkansas was definitely something I did not expect to be just absolutely gorgeous. I remember on that trip, I saw a sunset in 360 degrees. The sun was setting in every friggin' direction. I don't know how that happens. Probably dust in the air reflecting off the clouds, but good Lord, it was quite a sight. Um, and I remember pulled off the road. There was like a little nature spot, or right off the highway. There was a waterfall on the other side of this rock. Just this is the strangest. We ran into the strangest beauty. Just the most random, beautiful spots. I definitely would go back. I tell you what. Thanks for listening to me rave about Arkansas. Most incredible autumn views I've ever seen. I tell you what, I would like to go back in autumn. We showed up just after that. The leaves had fallen. Posted a question for your bud. Do I need to scroll up for that? Oh, how's it going with my neighbor? I haven't heard a peep from him in a while. Um, when I say I haven't heard a peep, I have been every day they're slamming stuff and yelling at each other, and every day I'm hearing them. But as far as interactions and smoke and all that, there hasn't been anything. So that's pretty all right. But I mean, it's only been 30 hours since our last negative interaction. So I did not. The office was closed yesterday, so I was not able to go down there and tell them what's going on. So I'm looking forward to doing that today. I mean, I guess I'm not looking forward to doing that today. I'm looking forward to no longer having that on my to-do list. I'm looking forward to crossing that one out. That's for sure. I've always wanted to go to Maine, Kim. I tell you what. Brianna says I've always wanted to go to Vermont. I hear that I've been, but I was too young to remember. So I don't count that. I say that to my dad all the time. I'm like, I've never been to Vermont. He's like, damn, that's not true. You totally have. It's like, well, I don't remember. We should probably go again. We should probably go again. Do you guys want to read some of this medical journal? I don't think we're going to do an hour-long episode today because of my weird throat stuff, but we were reading about should the term recovery be applied only to solutions? And I think that's a strange question. The paragraph that we went through yesterday put forth the position that alcohol and drug problems exist on a continuum. So that means there's a spectrum, right? It's not just like it's not defined. There's a lot of stuff going on here, right? That's what that's saying. And he says on this continuum, there's abstinence, there's non-problematic alcohol and drug use. So I guess that would be, he doesn't define that right here, but I would have to say non-problematic would be how non-addicts operate with alcohol and drug use, to be quite clear. I don't think that's something that we do. Subclinical alcohol and drug problems, which, what does that mean? I don't think we did go through this yesterday. This might be a new section. Transient problems not meeting severity or persistence criteria. I don't understand that. I might have to type in some of these words. Subclinical. Call me the thesaurus. Subclinical. Relating to or denoting a disease which is not severe enough to present definite or readily observable symptoms. Interesting. Wow. That is very interesting. So, that's what transient problems not being. Okay, their definition of the complicated word is more complicated than the complicated word. So I'm glad that we were able to chew that up. So what they're saying is on this continuum, there's abstinence, there's non-addict behavior, there's problems that are not severe enough to diagnose, and two broad diagnostic entities, substance abuse and substance dependence, which again was I believe we earlier were talking about the mental versus the physical. Any definition of recovery should link this term to a previous clinical state. aka health, right? Being in good health. I'm not sure that this is very useful. This section here. Oh, we did talk about this. The survey of natural cessation, quitting naturally. When I say naturally, I don't mean cold turkey. I mean you didn't have any trouble. You just quit. It just stopped one day. I'm gonna skip all that. That's a bunch of. I'm not sure that that's very useful for us, folks. Have a great day, Jeremy. Much love, brother. There is considerable evidence, says William, that casual users and persons who naturally resolve alcohol and drug problems differ significantly from the mostly dependent users admitted to addiction treatment programs. Now, again, what he's saying is there's a bunch of evidence that there's a difference between casual users and people that end up going to rehab and treatment programs. Like, I think that goes without saying. That's the difference between an addict and a normal person. So he's establishing that there's a difference. He's establishing that we have something different going on in our brain as addicts. Comparisons of the characteristics of those who achieve natural recovery in community populations with the characteristics of those entering addiction treatment reveal that the former, aka regular people, are distinguished by less personal vulnerability, lower problem severity, less. Okay, so it's saying that normal folks are at much less risk. He's using a lot of words to say that normal folks, as opposed when compared to addicts, are at a largely lesser risk in the alcohol and drugs arena. That was cool. I was for a second there. I thought that this was going to be another worthless paragraph, but he's saying a lot of words just to say that we are largely at risk, and normal folks really are not. In fact, I bet you he goes on to mention the effect that we have on them, which is totally a thing, as well as qualitatively. What a word! Different resolution processes. So there's a bunch of different qualities, levels to resolution processes. The term recovery is best reserved for those persons who have resolved or are in the process of resolving severe alcohol and drug related problems. So I agree with that. That's literally the whole purpose of the term is for us, folks. I don't think that's a mystery. All right, section 4. What are the essential defining ingredients of the recovery experience? This should be good. We're finally getting to the meat and potatoes. It's hard. I tell you what, we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're like 11 paragraphs deep, and we're only like now getting to the part that I think is going to be really good. But I tell you what, it's hard to digest. So whatever, we're getting there nice and slow. Recovery folklore. That doesn't bode well. Both within professional treatment and mutual aid circles. Mutual aid circles being what we do here, community groups, right? Community centers, AA, places where communities come together to solve problems, right? That is I would say, a mutual aid circle. So recovery folklore, both within professional arenas and community arenas, is replete. I'm going to look that word up. I think I know what it means, but probably use like 5 different words, but he chose to use replete. Filled or well supplied with something. So the professional arena and the community arena in recovery, as far as recovery folklore, what the heck is that, is concerned, is full of references that recovery is a process, not an event, right? It's a marathon, not a race. We say that a lot here. Such folklore is buttressed, supported by, in case you didn't know, buttressed, supported by innumerable studies that frame recovery as a stage-dependent developmental process. I'm going to say that again. It's so interesting he's using the word folklore here. You know why he's doing that? Because, again, this paper is all about the definition of recovery or lack thereof, and the implications, the wide reaching implications of not being able to agree on a definition of recovery, right? So that being said, give me just a second here. I'm gonna adjust some windows so that I'm more organized. Some more coffee. So he's using the word folklore to further emphasize that this isn't real yet. We can't agree. This is all kind of fantasy, right? It's not. But the fact that we can't agree on a definition, like I get what he's trying to say, right? Such a weird phrase, folklore. I really like the word, but in this context, very strange, very thought provoking. This guy is thought provoking in general. I'm definitely a fan. Um, mm, innumerable blah blah blah. However, both historical and contemporary evidence, contemporary meaning modern, meaning right now, evidence from today's age, historical meaning from yesterday's age, right? So, however, both historical and contemporary evidence suggest that addiction recovery is sometimes the product of a sudden event that is unplanned. We call that a psychic awakening, right? Or a rock bottom, right? What he's talking about is suddenly realizing, like for example, what my sobriety date is February 24th of 2023, right? So I'm just now coming up on 2 years. On that day, I woke up from a birthday bender and decided that I didn't want to die. So that's what he's saying right here. There's historical and contemporary evidence that suggests addiction recovery sometimes is the product of a sudden event that's unplanned, like waking up and deciding you actually do want to live, right? Hitting some rock bottom. Known in the clinical literature as quantum change or transformational change. This medium of recovery, medium being this way, we can say that, recovery initiation and consolidation. Consolidation is keeping things in one place. Often involves profound religious, spiritual, or secular experiences. I'm going to move this back actually so that I can see y'all. Can't decide. Profound religious, spiritual, and secular experiences that radically redefine personal identity and interpersonal relationships, suddenly and completely alter one's prior pattern of alcohol and drug use. Now, that's a lot of words, a lot of quite provocative words that we may or may not like, right? But what he's saying there is that often when this sudden event happens, if this is the way that you are initiated into recovery, if this is the way that you find recovery, a sudden unplanned event, rock bottom, what have you, a sudden psychic shift, right? It often involves profound changes to your patterns of behavior, to your patterns of thinking. It often involves a full 100% shift of everything that's going on in your life. The way you go about things, the way you walk, move through the world, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the way you think. That's what he's trying to say. He's saying that often these sudden shifts are accompanied by widespread change in one's life, one's psyche, one's identity is a word that he used. Interpersonal relationships. Now he's saying suddenly and completely. A lot of the time, in my experience, we have to work hard at this stuff. It's not just going to magically change one day. Like one day, I'm not just going to be a good person. You know what I mean? Like yesterday, I was robbing and stealing for my drug habit. I'm not just going to be a good guy today. You know what I mean? It usually doesn't work like that. Um, like I would like to say that most things in the world that I have that are good came from hard work. Blood, sweat, and tears. A lot of tears, and a lot more blood than sweat, I guess. But that being said, sometimes I guess it's sudden and completely changing. An ideal definition of recovery, William goes on to say, Yadira, what's going on? Arwa, good to see you. Hello, hello. Floaters, that's us. We're floating on down the river. Eva, good morning. 'Tis officially hibernation season. I have some very soft blankets just for the occasion. Anita, hello, hello. An ideal definition of recovery would be broad enough, William goes on to say, to embrace both incremental and transformative styles of recovery, initiation, and consolidation. Okay. Oh, wow. It's quite a mouthful. It's quite tiring to say all this stuff, I have to say. What he's saying, an ideal definition of recovery would be big enough, broad enough to encompass both baby steps and sudden transformative, right? So basically, he's bringing both of the things we were talking about a second ago together, right? These sudden psychic shifts and these changes that we work hard for. Ideally, the ideal definition of recovery would encompass both of those things. When he says recovery consolidation, he's talking about like continuing to recover. One sec. When he says consolidation, that's how he's referring to the hard work that we're doing every day, right? We're consolidating our recovery. That's a weird way to say that, but just so that we're all on the same page. And maybe I'm reading through this too quickly. Please let me know if I am. I'm pretty quick. I got to slow myself down a lot. White and Kurtz, he's got another bibliography reference here that I'm not familiar with, but I'm sure it's cited at the bottom. So these two people have explored diverse pathways. I assume that there's some sort of medical professional or scientist or something like that. Have explored diverse pathways, in parentheses, religious, spiritual, and secular styles, more parentheses, of recovery. With and without treatment, with and without medication, so he's citing studies, basically. He's citing where he's drawing these conclusions from. So I'm going to just take his word for it. I'm going to just take his word for it at this point in time. At the very, very end of this section, he says, a definition of recovery should avoid restricting the boundaries, we love that, of recovery to a particular framework, strategy, or style of recovery. Hallelujah. This is amazing. This is amazing. See, we can have our own way of recovery. When I say way, we can recover the way that we recover, and we don't have to tell other people that their way of recovery isn't right. You know why? Because everybody's different. Everybody's unique. And I love this as a concept for like broad acceptance for like, let's all agree on a definition paper. I think this is great. A definition of recovery should avoid restricting boundaries of recovery to a particular method, particular strategy, a particular style, right? Just because we believe in harm reduction over here, some people don't, and that's fine. That's cool, right? AA don't believe in harm reduction. They don't believe in, taking certain drugs that the doctor's prescribing you for mental health, of all things. That really burns me up, right? But that's okay. That's fine. They get to, that works for folks. That doesn't work for me. But the point is we don't have to restrict the definition of recovery to one way. Like, we all are in it together. Like, we all want to end up in the same place. We all want to be recovered. We all want to live a better life, right? So if it's working for you, I love it. You know what I mean? If it's working for you, I'm like, run that crap. You know what I mean? So I love that. That is the best way we could possibly have ended section 4, in my opinion. I like this guy more and more the more we read. Kimberly in Japan, hello. Welcome back. Hi, I'm glad to catch you live. I don't know if you remember me. I do. But as an update, I had to distance myself from my brother. He crossed too many borders. My mental health was getting so bad. Well, I'm glad you did the distancing. Your mental health is paramount, Kimberly. We want you happy, healthy, safe, secure, serene. Sharon Kennedy, hello. From Scotland. I love it. Have you ever heard of a musical artist called Ren? His music is a must for anyone in recovery. Tracks like Hi Ren, Chalk Outlines, and How to Be Me. I have not, but I have now, I guess. Let me write this down. I'm really into music, so I will go ahead and give this a listen. I'm always into new stuff. I shouldn't get too into this because it's going to hurt my throat. 21 days later, my throat still hurts, guys. And I'm starting to feel it in my chest. It's starting to hurt a little bit. I wonder if I'll finally be able to cough up whatever's in there. Kimberly goes on to say, however, that doesn't mean I've lost my love for my brother. Damn right. I love this. I'm drawing lines to be able to get strong enough again to face him straight. P.S. Thanks for remembering me. It means a lot. Oh, absolutely. It's interesting. My memory, I'm kind of like my dad in the fact that I used to have a steel trap of a memory, and I have done a lot of drugs, man. And I mean, that's what I attribute it to now, but a lot of times I can't remember what I was doing 5 seconds ago. You guys see it when I'm on here. Sometimes I'll literally be in the middle of a sentence and I'll forget what the heck I'm saying. So I'm very grateful I was able to remember you. I don't really have a hard time remembering people. I have a hard time remembering abstract concepts. So that's one thing, I guess. Anyways, I guess that wasn't important at all. What's important is that you haven't lost love for your brother. You've drawn boundaries to keep yourself safe, right? So that you can succeed, so that you can thrive, and you're preparing to go back in and grab him by his collar and shake some sense into him. I'm really really happy to hear all that. Please continue to update me. I would like to know. Update us. We want to know. Love it says, folks, I know we're sick all up and down East Coast and here in S-Dub. I tell you what, I called my dad this morning and he sounded sick, but he told me he wasn't. I think he's in denial. He sounded real nasally. Usually his voice just sounds a little scratchy because he's been talking for 15 hours live. He's just a straight machine. But no, I definitely detected a nasally tone. So let's get some ones up for everyone out there that's sick. Anyone out there that needs a little extra help, a little extra love today. Anyone out there struggling, but especially for those that are sick. Hopefully the Admiral doesn't end up down for the count. That would suck because he's out there with the lifeboat flag, just kind of like waving it around, and we need him out there doing that. We need him out there doing that. Rick Spicer, what's going on, big dog? Good to see you, man. Rocking it, sir. My pleasure, dude. My pleasure. Jane, hello, hello. Isn't that what HIPAA is all about? Absolutely. Absolutely. At least it's not 28 days later. Lol. Isn't that a vampire movie or is it a zombie movie? I forget. If I would only be down to be a vampire if I had someone to stalk the night for eternity with me. I wouldn't want to do it alone. Emily and I used to joke about being vampires and stalking the night for eternity together. But that ship sailed pretty quick, dude. Good thing we didn't become vampires. We would have got sick of each other, I think. She might have been stuck with me though. Maybe that would have fixed everything. Probably not. That's a fantasy thought. Oh, you know what just came on my shuffle? Coco Rossi. Do you guys know this artist? It's two estranged sisters that both got into music and then like reconnected and they started a band together. One of them's like has like a traditional like opera background and classical music, and the other one is more of like a spoken word poet kind of thing. And man, they make some killer tracks. I'm listening to offering. I think this one's called Promise. It is. Promise and Werewolf have got to be my favorite tracks. A little risque with the lyrics, but probably the most artful music the most out of the box, artsy fartsy music I've recommended ever. I'm a big fan though. To quote some of the lyrics that are a little risque, just give you an idea. Well, maybe I shouldn't do that. I should let you experience it without me screwing it up. How about that? Good thing I didn't make baby vampires. That is so true, dude. Oh my. I count my blessings all the time. I tell you what, I am honestly kind of blown away that this didn't end up happening. You know what I mean? It definitely should have. This is the Adventures of Ghost Horse and Stillborn album, Kristen. That's a great example of the risque right there. That's the name of their album, Adventures of Ghost Horse and Stillborn. In Werewolf, he talks about they talk about their history with their father, and Promises. I'm not entirely sure what it's about. I may have missed it, asks Lovett, but did you call the friend you got sober with? She's now struggling. I did not. I did not. Today's Tuesday. I think I reached out and didn't get a response. I'll try again. Thank you for reminding me. It matters. It's important. Kimberly says it's almost 2 a.m. over here. I need to go to bed. Well, I hope you have a wonderful night, Kimberly. Thanks for checking in. I hope you get some restful sleep, huh? Much love, yo. Rick Spicer says family is the most important, but also usually the biggest pain in the boop. Yeah, I agree, dude. Definite pain in the butt, family, but super important. Super grateful for my relationship with them today. I've had quite enough of that medical journal for this morning, guys. And also, Kim says, I really think that many people underestimate the value and healing properties of music. I agree. I 100% agree. I'm constantly listening to tunes until sometimes I need a break and I need some silence. But otherwise, I'm pretty much constantly listening to music. Or honestly, the older I get, listening to people talk about stuff is almost as good. It's not as good, but I'll listen to podcasts or I'll listen to someone read me in medical papers sometimes. I do a lot of that these days as well. Bobby Jean says, my saying is you can throw the ball to someone, but they have to catch it and run with it. That's damn straight. That is correct. I like to say I can, show you the door, but you got to walk through it. I like to quote Morpheus on that one. That being said, guys, my throat is getting extra scratch. I'm going to have to get out of here. But the day's coming when we can just ride off into the sunset together again. I promise. I look forward to it very, very much. My pal Sal, hello, hello. Good to see you. Good morning. I used to do a lot of stand-up comedy as well. I've taken a break. I was really enjoying the Kill Tony show, and then started to get in my head about some stuff about the show, and that I stopped watching, and really should just get over myself and watch it again because it's hilarious. I don't like the way that they treat people sometimes, but it's all in the spirit of comedy. It's all in the spirit of fun, right? So I get it, but I started to get in my head about morals, and it's comedy, man. Get out of here, right? Get out of here with your morals. Anyways, I love you guys. Hit that like, subscribe, the bell for notifications if you like what we do here. It makes a huge difference. Shout out to the mods, the crew, anybody new. Y'all are the best. You make my day better every single morning. Be good to yourself today. You deserve it. And if I left you with one thought, it's that there's not one particular framework. There's not one strategy, not one style of recovery. There's a bunch, right? There's a continuum, a spectrum, they call it, right? So don't ever feel like you need to subscribe to one particular way of recovery. What matters is that we're doing better. What matters is that we're improving. What matters is that we're learning from our mistakes, right? What matters is that we're pushing forward, not giving up, right? Anyways, this is Captain Calhoun. This has been the Lifeboat signing off. Much love, folks. Peace out from the nub.